So yes, my name is Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada, and welcome to another Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. Oh, and Craig is here. Oh my gosh, perfect timing. Lovely. Thank you everyone for joining me today. So yes, another Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour from my palatial estate in Collingwood. What could the machine be today? Well, you could probably tell by our clue on the Janome HQ Instagram page that, let's flip around, Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour, yes, is going to be, yes, that fabulous Janome HD-9 BE Black Edition. Now, again, you may be wondering, didn't we just see that recently? Well, yes, it was about two weeks ago that I first debuted this fabulous Janome HD-9 BE. And normally, I have talked about some other machines like the, Skyline S9 and Memorycraft 15,000 Quilt Maker, Continental M7. I know I've presented, probably about 3 times because there is so much to those machines. Now, the Janome HD-9 BE, I was going to demo again. I didn't realize I would be demoing it this early, but there's a reason, a method to my madness. There's something very special coming up on this HD-9 BE, so you will be very glad that you are a supporter of Janome HQ and very glad that you are tuning in live to this presentation because I will reveal some brand new beautiful secrets concerning this machine and a couple of other little goodies that we have in store for you. And in fact, speaking of in store for you, oh yes, that we're still working out details, but we're about just over 1,446, I think we have followers, 1,446 followers on Janome HQ Instagram page. And we would love to do some giveaways once we hit that 1,500 mark. So we're working out details, but all will be revealed very soon. And again, we're hoping to encourage to get some more followers. And when we get up to that 1,500 followers, then we could have some free giveaways. Who doesn't love some freebies? We had a giveaway all the way back to when we had 500 followers, the Madeira Stabilizer Starter Pack. So we would definitely need to do some fabulous, giveaways for 1,500. Now, we won't be giving away one of these fabulous HD-9 BE, but I wanted to show it again because, again, this machine is so versatile. Now, HD, you can imagine, yes, stands for heavy duty. 9, referring to the 9-inch throat space here, and it's quite tall as well. So we've got beautiful LED lighting here, LED lighting around the needle, quite a big throat space. So again, if you're a garment sewer, this only, again, we say only straight stitch, but there's a whole lot you can do with a straight stitch. If you're a garment sewer, perfect. If you're a quilter, perfect. There's so much versatility built into this machine. If you are a crafter, a bag maker, you make tote bags, purses, wallets, you will love this machine as well. Again, it is so versatile. So I wanted to share a little more of the versatility today, and specifically, again, to give you a heads up of what's coming up with this machine, which I will reveal in just a moment. But yes, especially part of why this machine in particular, the HD-9 BE Black Edition, is so versatile is look at this ginormous extension table that comes with. Now, the HD-9 that came out in white a couple of years ago does not have this extension table, but I wanted to let you all know, oh yes, of course I had to ask, will this extension table come in white for those of us who bought the HD-9 in white? Because, I bought this machine myself because I love the machine so much. And yes, this extension table that comes included with the HD-9 Black Edition is also available in white. And then, yes, you can get it in white if you have the HD-9 in white as an optional accessory. It doesn't come with the machine. It's an optional accessory for the HD-9 in white. Oh, and Shane is here. Hello, it is great to see you. So yes, again, adding to the versatility. So a couple of things Again, you can review the presentation I did, again, about 2 weeks ago. That's now on the Janome HQ IGTV icon, or it's also on the Janome HQ YouTube channel under Magical Machine Mystery Tour. You can review the previous presentation I did on this HD-9 BE, and an example things comes included, with the knee lifter, versatility, that we can plug it in and we don't have to use the presser foot lever to raise and lower the presser foot. We can use that knee lifter instead. So that's good. Now things comes included like this big cone adapter, for example. So again, to add to the versatility of this machine, oh yes, we could use big cones of thread. Our iris cotton quilting thread, for example, comes in big cones like this as well. This is some Madeira thread. So in big cones, again, versatility. If we're quilting or again garment sewing, we can use big cones of thread. Oh, if we're making boat covers, barbecue covers, there is a special threading guides for your heavy duty threads. So again, big cones of thread. Then we can even use like the small mini kings as well. This is again our iris cotton quilting thread, or even smaller spools like this fabulous Madeira poly neon thread. This is the thread I'm actually going to be demoing with today. The Madeira poly neon comes in a million colors. Did you know Janome Canada is a distributor of Madeira and iris threads? So you can get those threads again for your quilting machine, embroidery machine. We've got threads for your serger, your cover hem machines, all your domestic sewing machines. Janome Canada has a thread for you. Just double check with your dealers. And even included with your HD-9 BE is a thread net here. So things like this Madeira metallic thread, I love using, but I like using this net because you can see it helps. The thread will come up only right off that spool very beautifully, so it helps the thread feed more evenly using that thread net. And typically I use that again for metallic threads or some really fine, delicate threads. We've got the vertical spool pins here too. So then we can we can wind a bobbin without having to unthread our needle. So that's great, having the two spool pins. Again, that tall, with my light there, that tall thread mass there for that high speed sewing. With our HD-9 BE, we have 1,600 stitches per minute. So lots of versatility there with that speed and that power. This is the most industrial-like machine in the Janome line. It's not industrial. Janome machines are intended for home use. But, don't be surprised if you look into some dry cleaners and you see this machine or the predecessor, the 1600P. Again, it is meant for home use, but it is a very sturdy, very solid machine. Again, like all Janomes. All metal bed here. Like all Janomes, there is a cast aluminum base, and the machine itself is metal everywhere. We have the reverse lever here that's in plastic, but other than that, it's pretty much an all-metal machine. But we do have this scissor button here. We've got our stitch adjustment dial here. So we can go super long up to 6 as a basting stitch, or down super tight. Again, if we're quilting, piecing, then I like to drop it down. This would be about a 1.5. I would drop it down. Typically, I like to stitch piecing at about a 1.8. So again, anywhere around a 2 or below. I wouldn't go super, super fine in 1, just in case you've got to remove some stitches. But again, lots of versatility for average sewing, garments. I would do about a 2.5. So that is indicated here on your stitch length dial. We do have a speed control. Again, the bobbin indicator here, so we can wind our own bobbins. And again, we've got those 2 spool pins, so we don't have to unthread our needle. Now we've got needle up down button. I love that. This button up here is to adjust the pressure of your presser foot. So again, if you're using those heavier, thicker fabrics, maybe you need to lighten up some of that pressure to help it feed more evenly. Now, I mentioned, again, this special threading that right now I just have it threaded for, regular sewing, but we do have even a little cheat sheet here stuck on the machine that guides you using these special guides here that will, and adjusting your tension for those heavier threads, like nylon threads that you would use for your, again, boat covers and barbecue covers and such. And of course, full instructions in your manual as well. And then a little side cutter off to the side that's in white, so you can easily see it. So there, a little thread cutter off to the side. Again, from back to front is a cutter, but from front to back, you can hold up your threads there, and that way they don't get pulled down into the bobbin area. Now, I mentioned, again, this is a straight stitch only, but again, there's a lot you can do with a straight stitch. Now, you'll see even I have the ruler foot. That is one of the many presser feet that are available for this machine. So the blister pack looks like that, 1/4-inch ruler foot, and you'll see it says for high-speed straight stitch models. Janome has a 1/4-inch ruler foot for virtually almost every machine. There is a low shank version of this foot and a high shank version of this foot. Some of the machines have like the QR ruler foot that comes included. They've got maybe the convertible free motion quilting foot set, and then you could get the 1600p frame foot to attach to it. So there's many different ruler foot options, but we've got this 1/4-inch ruler foot for the high speed straight stitch models. We definitely want to make sure we've got the correct feet, especially for this machine, not only of how it attaches here to the presser foot bar, but mainly, again, with the speed of the machine and the mechanics of the machine. This is a vertical oscillating hook as opposed to the drop down, which is the rotary hook. And in my last presentation, I attempted to take out the bobbin, which is very simple to do, but often before Magical Machine Mystery Tour and all my Instagram lives, I end up putting hand cream on to moisturize my hands, and then very often they're too slippery. So it's very easy to remove the bobbin, but in this case I thought I'll leave it out and I'll show you that yes, we have a separate bobbin case, a metal bobbin case, and yes, we will be using metal bobbins that come included with the HD-9 BE. And these bobbins are 1.4 times bigger than our average plastic Janome bobbin. Oh, which then I will show you, yes, again, conveniently in our Janome bobbin saver here, that yes, because it is like this rubbery, grippy surface, we can even use these larger bobbins for the HD9 and put them here in our bobbin holder. Like, they work very well. Oh, and Paul is here. Hello, it's great to see you. So this is, like our standard Janome J bobbin, plastic bobbin, but the HD9 and HD9 BE bobbins, ooh, can you tell? Look at how much bigger they are. So again, 1.4 times bigger, so we can wind more thread onto these bobbins. So that's wonderful. And in all of our oscillating vertical hooks, just like with our Quiltmaker Pro long arm machines that have that separate bobbin case, we're going to thread the bobbin with the thread coming off to the right in a clockwise motion. If we had that lay-in rotary hook model, we would reverse that. We would turn it around, and again, we often say it forms a letter P. The thread comes off to the left. But with this oscillating vertical hook with the separate bobbin case, we're going to flip that around and make sure the thread goes off clockwise to the right. And very easy to do. Again, your instruction manual goes over all of it, how it goes in the little slot, and then it comes up here to the little finger guide, and then boom, that's it. Like, it's done. Now, what I love of this whole setup, Janome really tries to think of everything with your fabulous extension table attached. Oh, you don't have to remove it. You just open this little trap door, and then you take this plate off and then open this little trap door, and it really does look like a black hole in there to see. And again, it's hard with the camera, but the vertical hook and I just snap in the bobbin holder, like boom, it is done. Again, I wish I had some better lighting to show you all in there, but again, it just clips, boom, done, in place. Now, what I love to do as well with our convenient needle up down button, or we can turn the balance wheel. Whenever we're going to turn the balance wheel on the side of all machines, we're going to turn it towards us. Make sure that you do that. But I love just using needle up down, boom, boom, or down up, I should say. And that's going to raise my bobbin thread there. Ooh, beautiful, done. And then we can just snap these compartments back. Whoops, back on, boom, done, ready to go. It's so simple. Ooh, Sandra says, ooh, that's cool. Yes, it's a very cool setup. Again, Janome really tries to think of everything. Now you'll notice, again, I've got this ruler foot on, and it comes with a special stitch plate. Given this is straight stitch only, again, only sounds limited, and it's not at all. Here is the regular stitch plate. It has that center hole, because all we can do is that straight stitch. But again, like most Janome machines, do you see, oh, there's a 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, 1 inch, and metric as well. If you're millimeters and centimeters kind of person, I'm definitely more feet in inches, so I look up here. But again, we've got convenient guides on our needle plate. So they're great to use if we want to use like this cloth guide that comes included, that screws into the needle plate here, or the little screw holes next to the needle plate. And again, how simple is that? So when we use our usual needle plate, we can move it to, oh, our 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch. Again, versatility. No matter what kind of sewing we're going to do, we can use this cloth guide that comes included to help us line up our stitches. But specifically when we do ruler work, again, this foot comes optional for your HD9 black edition and your regular HD9 in white. But it comes optional in the blister pack. It has the ruler foot and this thicker needle plate. The cool thing, many times people have asked, can we drop the feed dogs of the HD9 because we want to do ruler quilting and free motion quilting? Well, no, we can't drop the feed dogs. But again, Janome always tries to think of everything. They really do listen to the feedback. So they created this special ruler foot and needle plate that is thicker than the regular needle plate. So isn't that cool? So now the feed dogs are still here, but this needle plate is higher than the feed dogs. So I don't feed them at all, or I don't feel them at all. We do have an extra high presser foot lift. This is something I forgot to mention before. Look at that. I can totally get my finger right under there. So again, when we're doing quilting or bag making, lots of thick layers, we've got that extra high presser foot lift to get our fabric underneath there. So that's great. Needles as well. Something else I wanted to mention. The needle actually is oriented this way. So the eye of the needle is going to the side of the machine here. So we're threading the needle not front to back as we normally do in most other machines. In the HD9 machines, we're threading from the side to the side here. So that is unusual. But part of why that is again the mechanics of the machine, but also this machine, many quilters liked putting this on a frame on a carriage, and the carriage has handles, and then they use this machine on a quilting frame, so it becomes like a long arm quilting machine. So then they would view not at this angle as we do with traditional sewing. When you put this machine on a frame, you'd be looking at it like this. So again, the eye of the needle is here. So you're threading it from the side into the bed of the machine. And yes, there is an included needle threader as well. So that's great. And then even our ruler foot, they've got little divots. There's a little divot here if you're stitching regular on the machine this way, or if you've got this machine on a frame, again, there's a little divot on this side, so then you can see the needle better. But speaking of needles, yes, as usual, my time is flying. Speaking of needles, yes, we do have a pack of these HL times 5 needles. Now that HL is a very long German word that means basically very heavy duty, very extra strong needles. They're slightly longer than our regular Janome needles, but the main thing is that they are HL, they're super strong. So these are size 14, but look at some of the goodies you can get with your machine or for your machine. So with your HD9, we want to use those HL times 5 needles, but they also come in size 11, for example. So that's a slightly smaller eye for using more fine threads. Or how about we've got the HD9 in size 9, so that's even more fine, more delicate. So when we want to do some sewing and use that, use like chiffon and organdy, to use that included D rolled hem foot, like look at that, how gorgeous that is, then yes, maybe we want to use some very fine, delicate thread, so we would use a size 9 needle, for example. So again, lots of versatility with this machine. And of course, with garments or even home deck, if we want an adjustable zipper foot or a concealed zipper foot, they are available for your machine. The straight stitch little foot is available, and last time I demoed the HD-9 BE, I also demoed this Ultra Glide foot. And that is for, again, all of our vinyls and leather, cork, all that kind of sticky, hard to use fabric. That Ultra Glide, it just feeds like butter. And I have these all in this cool tool embellishment holder from Tudo. Again, you can order this from your Janome dealer, and it's got all these Velcro pockets to hold all your notions and all your, seam ripper, all of that kind of stuff. So then you can just put it up at your table. It's very convenient. So again, when I'm going to be doing my ruler quilting, and the last thing, the machine, yes, does come with a cover. Many times people ask, does it come with a dust cover? Yes, it does. And again, if this looks kind of plain, then I always say, well, just cut this up and use this as your template. And then you could use that to make another dust cover to your liking. But yes, when I'm going to be doing some ruler quilting, for example, here's my little sandwich of my backing, my batting, and my quilt top. Do you know Janome has a lot of, these rulers from the So Comfortable line. There are two different lines within the So Comfortable line. There are these smaller, these are about 1/8 of an inch thick rulers. And templates, we all just call them rulers, but they're kind of templates. This one is for making circles, and again, these are about 1/8 of an inch thick. We don't want to use our rotary cutting rulers for ruler quilting. We want to stick to these, again, Janome So Comfortable. This is a circle template, again, about 1/8 of an inch thick. Or, with our high shank machines here, we can use these 1/4 of an inch thick. These rulers are typically for the long arm Quiltmaker Pro machines, but we can use these beautifully. Again, this ruler foot has that higher profile, so when we make sure to drop your foot when you're doing ruler quilting, again, we can butt the rulers up against that foot, and they're not going to jump over and hit our needle. So these are technically long arm rulers, but again, we can use them for our HD9 and all of our high shank machines. Now, this wave template, a lot of them have this little plastic backing. So again, you can remove that, and then it helps it stick better on your machine. So when I do my ruler quilting, the cool thing about it is it has this little wheel here at the side that will raise and lower the foot. I have the foot down. I've dropped the presser foot lever, but then we can still customize and turn this wheel, and that will drop our foot down closer to our fabric. And we want to see, is there any drag? Sometimes if you notice, if your stitches, your thread is breaking and you just can't feed the fabric well, then maybe it's too low onto the fabric. Conversely, if it's too well, let me go the other way. If it's too high and you're going all around and you see your thread is kind of dancing around and it's breaking, then again, maybe it's too high. If you've got some skip stitches, maybe it's too high. So you need to lower it. So you just experiment. So when I do my ruler quilting here, I do like to raise and lower the needle in the fabric itself. So then that way, we don't have to worry about it bunching up on the back of the quilt, and we don't have to go back later and fish it out and trim it off. Now I'm using my tweezers from the Janome scissor set. I love that scissor set, and I'll show that in a minute. So when I do my ruler quilting here, again, the fun thing is that I just drew a little line, and we use our rulers that we become the stitch regulator. It doesn't matter what our stitch length is. The length of your stitches depends on how fast your hands are moving relative to the fast motor of the machine. Now, this is where, again, maybe you want to reduce that speed. And particularly, I'm doing ruler quilting. I often use that Iris cotton quilting thread. But especially if we want to really highlight what we're doing, then why not use some beautiful decorative thread? So this is where, again, I'm using that Madeira poly neon thread. So isn't that beautiful? Now, the fun thing is, again, we drop our needle and then, oh, we don't have to pivot our fabric. Whoops. We don't have to pivot our fabric. We can keep it in the same direction. And then we just move. I'll try to get on my line. We just move along. So ruler quilting is very fun because you can basically quilt in any direction, stitch in any direction, and you can just help move it along a little bit. And the fun thing about all these rulers and guides, again, there's little marks on it all to keep you all lined up and even. And then the fun thing too, people ask me all the time, well, okay, now can I switch to free motion? Well, sure. Let's do a little free motion. This is where I generally stitch a little faster, but I move the fabric a little slower to try to keep more consistent. And the main thing is, like everything else, you just got to practice, you just got to play around, but it is so fun. And again, it's so versatile. So did you think, again, oh, that HD-9 is a straight stitch only machine? But hey, we could do free motion quilting, ruler quilting, and in this case, I'm not even switching the foot from a ruler foot to free motion quilting. And again, you just got to play. And there's using that wave template. Like, it's so fun of what you can do. And then if you think, oh, well, I'm not that creative, how about using a panel, a piece of fabric that's already got, in this case, it's already got lines on it, so you don't even have to worry about doing any piecing for your samples. Just follow the lines that are built into the fabric. So again, I butt my ruler on. You just have to remember that this ruler foot is 1/4 of an inch all around the needle. So if you want that needle to go right along in that ditch, basically, you're lining up your ruler 1/4 of an inch from that edge. So it feels a little weird at first, but you're using the ruler to, again, guide you to keep a straight line in that ditch. And then from there, you can use the lines on the ruler if you want your spacing, 1/2 of an inch away, 3/4 of an inch away. It is so fun. There's so much you can do. And of course, full instructions come included in the various so comfortable. That one is the 8x3 mini scallop ruler, for example. And again, full instructions there. And we have lots of information about ruler quilting on the Janome HQ YouTube channel. So yes, you can do that with your fabulous HD-9. But I wanted to show you specifically, and yes, what is so special and why I'm doing this so quickly, for one day only. next week, not this week, next week, look at my fabulous graphics here, that yes, February 22nd, which is a Tuesday of 2022, so we have Janome is having a flash sale. Don't tell my boss, I'm telling you. But this beautiful HD9 is going to be included in that flash sale. Now, the thing with flash sales, to kind of celebrate this moment in history of February 22nd, 2022, again, next Tuesday, Janome's having this flash sale that's one day only. So that's why I'm giving you, my Janome HQ followers, the heads up that next Tuesday you can contact your Janome Canada dealer and ask them about, hey, can we get this fabulous Janome HD-9 BE on sale? Now, it's participating dealers. Not every dealer participates in all of our sales, but they all do have all the information about this flash sale that is coming up. And it will be posted. Don't worry. There will be reminders on our Janome Canada and Janome HQ social media, as well as our Janome Life blog. There will be a post about it. Now, not only this beautiful HD9 will be included in that flash sale, but look at this gorgeous treasure chest full of Madeira polyneon thread. So look at all this beautiful thread. So this beautiful treasure chest with all this Madeira thread will be included in that flash sale. So again, don't contact your Janome dealer today or tomorrow. It's not on sale yet, but next week, Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, to celebrate that in history, ooh, this gorgeous thread. So again, what beautiful decorative things you can do with all that thread. And, you know, Madeira also has, oh, here's some polyneon thread in the multicolors. And then we also have, ooh, this big box of polyneon thread in the larger spools. So contact your Janome Canada dealer about the Madeira thread and Iris thread that, again, Janome Canada is distributors of that thread, but specifically you've got the heads up about that flash sale next week. So you will be seeing more about that. But again, I always love sharing the love where I can, and specifically this beautiful HD9 BE. So yes, rulers, just before I go, there was a quick question about if you have a low shank machine. There are rulers specifically for low shank machines. Janome's So Comfortable rulers are, again, we've got the two sizes, the 1/4 of an inch thick for high shank machines and long arms, and then these 1/8 of an inch thick. These you would not use with your long arm machine. These are for high shank machines. The low shank rulers are generally thinner than this. They're less than 1/8 of an inch, which we don't have in our So Comfortable line. The only concern with low shank using rulers on low shank machines is, again, this is the shank of your foot, of where that foot holder is, where it screws on. And some of the rulers may be a little too thick to use behind the shank. So again, this is a high shank machine, so no problem at all. Your lower shank, it's going to be down kind of where my finger is. So some of these rulers for high shank machines, at the sides, no problem. The front, no problem. It's only around the back where they could be a little too high. But specifically, there are low shank rulers available. So it just, for sure, those low shank rulers, no problem. The high shank ones, again, if you use at the side or the front, it's okay. It's only the back where it could run into some issues. So depending on what your ruler and your template is, it may be a little tricky to use. But yes, in our high shank HD9 BE, no problem. Again, we've got all that fabulous versatility. So there, as usual, what a whirlwind. I could go on stitching all day, but I hope that gives you all a little more sneak peek about the HD9, and again, what a fabulous versatile machine it is, and then also a little heads up about our flash sale next week. One day only, so again, that's why I thought I'd mention it now, so you've got that heads up. And it's Janome Canada that is doing this Tuesday, February 22nd, because again, how never again in history, certainly not in our lifetimes, will we have that 2/22/22 again. So it just, Janome likes to do little fun things like that. So, and Joe is here. Oh, wonderful. Lovely. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you all next week. Next week is Ask Janome HQ. So if there's any questions that you would like answered, by all means, write on our social media and tune in, and then we will try to do our best to answer it live. Already, I've got the heads up from our last week's Ask Janome HQ. Catherine asked about how to get a better 1/4 of an inch and scant quarter for her quilting. So that's the focus of Ask Janome HQ next week, and show you all the options that Janome has available for your 1/4 inch piecing and your scant quarter. But again, any other questions I can answer live at the time, please tune in. So lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. I absolutely love it. It's so fun. Again, time just escaped, so we'll just have to do it again. So I love it. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Have a fabulous day. Bye.